CNN political commentator Bakari Sellers and former White House spokesperson for President George W. Bush, Pete Seat. Gentlemen, nice to see both of you this morning. You also heard Gavin Newsom say, in his words, you have to fight fire with fire. It can't be a kumbaya moment anymore. You really have to get in there and do the work. And yet, by a nearly 2-to-1 margin, voters actually prefer keeping independent line drawing panels to determine a state's House seat. That's from the latest Politico Citroen Center Possibility Lab survey. And only 36% of respondents said they support congressional redistricting authority, giving that to state lawmakers. Bakari, does this tit for tat risk alienating voters across the board, no matter their affiliation?
Unquestionably. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head, Erica. And that's the problem with what Governor Abbott and Donald Trump are doing in Texas, and Texas lawmakers are doing. And they don't have any real issue doing it, but they're further eroding the trust. I mean, Donald Trump has been trust in norms, in the foundations of democracy for a very long period of time, whether or not as law enforcement or whether or not as journalism. And now he's taking that to what I find to be one of the least sexy issues, but the most important issues, which is how we actually draw lines and vote. So the answer to your question is yes. And I've always stated that, the funny part about state lawmakers, because I was one, when we draw these lines, is we have our number one priority is our reelection. It's not making sure that we have free and fair elections or unbiased elections or well-drawn lines. State lawmakers draw lines to benefit themselves. And so you see that, and you're seeing that play out now. And this is truly a tragic time in the history of our country.
You say it's about getting reelected. I mean, that's been the discussion around Congress for some time now. I don't need to tell either one of you that. Pete, when you look at this, it also raises the question. We know how Americans feel about Congress. I believe the latest Gallup poll showed something like 26% of Americans really happy with the job that Congress is doing. This is not ultimately about legislating. It's about, to Bakari's point, it's about grabbing power. It's not a great look for either party, Pete. So how do you see this playing out and being sold? Is it really being sold as a way that it benefits the voter? Because it feels like Americans are losing across the board.
First and foremost, I want to say gerrymandering is not the norm in every state in this country, yet we continue to talk about it that way. I could get on my soapbox about Indiana and how well drawn our lines are, but I won't do that this morning. I think the way this potentially ends is with the exact same margin that we have in the United States House of Representatives right now. If Texas goes forward, California goes forward, Ohio goes forward, Missouri goes forward, and other states, we just end up right where we started. And what was the point of this entire exercise? I do want to say very quickly, Erica, that this idea of an independent citizen commission is a joke. Just because they call it independent does not make it independent. There are 52 congressional seats in the state of California. All but 9 are currently held by Republicans. Donald Trump got about 40% of the vote. You cannot tell me that partisanship was not utilized to draw those lines.
We are going to have to move on to another topic, but don't worry, this one is not ending anytime soon by the way things are going. Let's look, though, before I let you both go, I do want to talk about D.C. So these moves overnight by the Attorney General, Pam Bondi's takeover, essentially, in a letter to the chief of D.C.'s police, to D.C.'s police chief, rather, the Attorney General for the district, Brian Schwab, writes, "It's my opinion that the Bondi order is unlawful," saying you are not legally obligated to follow it. He went on to say the Home Rule Act does not give the president the authority to remove or replace the chief of police or to alter the chain of command for the MPD. Bakari, you are my lawyer. Is he right? Is the law on his side?
Yes. He actually is right, and Pam Bondi probably knows that, which makes that more disingenuous. Look, there are things that are voted on and ratified by the D.C. City Council, by the mayor of D.C. There were acts such as sanctuary cities, whether or not you agree with it or not. I'm talking about the legality of it. You can't revoke that if you're Pam Bondi. That has been ratified by the D.C. City Council. And it's actually one of their ordinances or city laws. And so she can't simply revoke that. What we're seeing right now is this weird power play. And I look, Erica, I was born at night, not last night. And I just think all of this is to take away from the Epstein files. I mean, can we just call it what it is? All of this is a distraction, taking away from when the president is having bad moments. He's attempting to flood the zone, and that's what you're seeing in Washington, D.C.
We are 10 on time this morning as we wait to hear from the president potentially as he makes his way to Alaska. But thank you both for joining me. Bakari, Pete, appreciate it.